Hello, my name's Wendy Hadlington. I'm an engagement officer with Healthwatch Sunderland. This is Gill. Gill's one of our volunteers and she's kindly agreed to tell us her personal story of struggles with alcohol as part of Alcohol Awareness Week.
Hello.
Can you tell us when you first realised that you did have a problem with alcohol?
I didn't realise at all that I had a problem with alcohol. I didn't feel ill, but I did get very breathless and I had a very fat stomach. But because fat isn't a word in my vocabulary, nobody, not even my partner, dared to comment. I carried on at work, but when I had to climb stairs, I waited till nobody was around so that I could then go up and stop halfway to get my breath, but I didn't want anyone to know. I also fell asleep during interviews and meetings, and colleagues covered for me, but I could drop off but then continue a conversation. I went to the doctor for something else and she got a nurse to do an electrocardiogram. The nurse said, "Is your stomach normally this large?" I was so embarrassed. She sent me back to the doctor to check my stomach. The doctor asked me to lie down and then said, "Sit up!" I asked why. She said my lips had gone blue and she sent me to the hospital. They did loads of tests and said that although I looked very well, I was in fact very ill, and they kept me in for 10 days. My liver was barely functioning. If I hadn't gone then, they said I would have died. They kept asking me questions of what time of day it was and to hold my hands out to see if my hands were shaking. They asked me if I wanted to live long enough to see my grandchildren grow up. It was all really frightening. And there were other women on the ward, all in their 50s, same condition as me, and they also didn't realise that it was caused by drinking, and they'd been drinking so much.
Do you think the other people around you at home and at work realised it was alcohol?
No, nobody realised it was alcohol, and I think at work they thought it was a bit of a laugh because I kept falling asleep. Right. But really, it was quite embarrassing.
Sure. So when were you drinking?
I was drinking at home with my partner in the evenings, and we had a chalet that we used to go to at weekends, and we asked friends round, and everybody used to have a good old drink on the Saturday night, and nobody thought anything of it. It was just part of our lives.
Okay. So how much do you think you were drinking, Jill?
Well, it's really hard to say, but when I told the doctor I would drink half a bottle of vodka a day, he was shocked, and he told his students, they were using me as a test case, I think, in the hospital. But I also used to drink wine and I used to drink beer, and every night at home I would drink vodka and probably wine as well.
Yeah. So you said you were drinking because you were socialising. Do you think there's any other reasons why you were drinking?
Not that I can think of. It felt nice and it felt happy and cheerful, but I wasn't depressed or anything.
Okay, and how are you now?
I'm fine now, but then I don't drink at all now. I can have an occasional glass of wine, usually a spritzer, but I don't need it and I certainly don't miss it.
Okay. And with regards to support, Jill, what support did you have when you left hospital?
The only support I had was actually in the hospital when they were giving me medication and long lectures on the evils of drink. But once I got out of hospital, even the GP didn't ask me anything. And on my sick note that was sent into work, it said alcoholic liver damage, which was, again, embarrassing. But work and friends supported me really well. And I did have follow-up blood tests every now and again to see how the liver was settling down. But there was no emotional support offered from the NHS. But they did praise me, rather like a child, when I went in and told them I hadn't had a drink. They would just say, "Well done," but there was nothing to do about my mental health or anything like that.
Okay. Well, we can say that we're pleased that you're well, Jill. You're one of our lovely volunteers, and thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.